In the last video, we have seen chemical equilibrium concept, that is, during reversible chemical reaction, when the rate of forward reaction and rate of reverse reaction, they become equal, chemical equilibrium point it reaches, or equilibrium point it reaches. At equilibrium, we have a particular concentration of reactants as well as products also. Temperature at equilibrium is also constant. Okay, we have seen equilibrium concept for physical changes like solid to liquid and liquid to gas. In this video, we will see equilibrium concept for one more physical change, that is solid to vapor, that is sublimation process. Okay, so this kind of equilibrium exists in sublimation process, that is solid to gas directly. Sublimating substances like iodine, camphor, ammonium chloride, okay, show this kind of equilibrium. So we will carry out one experiment to understand equilibrium point during sublimation. Suppose if you will take iodine crystals, that is sublimating substance, in a conical flask which is closed. Iodine being sublimating substance, after some time we can see iodine in gaseous form, solid iodine to gaseous iodine, or vapors of iodine which are violet in color we can see in the conical flask. In the beginning, slowly the intensity of violet color, it goes on increasing, but after some time you will observe that violet color intensity, it remains stable, constant. That means the rate of sublimation, solid to vapor, and rate of condensation, that is vapors of iodine back to solid iodine crystals, those rates become equal. As this conical flask is closed, the vapors cannot escape, therefore they will condense back to form crystals of iodine. And when rate of sublimation, which is high in the beginning, slowly it decreases, and rate of condensation, which is slow in the beginning and increases as time passes, when both rates will become equal, equilibrium point reaches. Okay, so this is about equilibrium during a physical change, solid to vapor conversion. Now same equilibrium phenomenon is applicable for chemical process. Suppose a chemical reaction is carried out, CaCO3 is heated. I told you already, most of the chemical reactions are reversible in nature. Calcium carbonate, when it is heated in open vessel, what will happen? CaCO3 on heating, it is going to be converted into CaO, which is in solid form, and CO2, which will be in gaseous form. If you will carry out this reaction in open vessel, then CO2, which is one of the product, it will escape. So there is no chance for this CO2 to react back with CaO and to form CaCO3. But when the same reaction is carried out in closed vessel, CO2 cannot escape, and therefore it will react with another product CaO, and we will get back CaCO3. So the same phenomenon or same process, that is, first of all, conversion of CaCO3 to CaO and CO2, and after some time CaO plus CO2 giving CaCO3. They will go on. The rate of forward reaction in the beginning, we can see this graphically. See, if you will plot rate of the reaction versus time. In the beginning, concentration of reactants is very high. So this is for rate of forward reaction. Rate of forward reaction is very high in the beginning, and slowly it is going to decrease. Okay, rate of reverse reaction is 0 in the beginning, and slowly it will increase, and a time will come when both the rates are going to become equal. That particular point is nothing but equilibrium point. Okay, so same like physical changes, in chemical reactions, reversible chemical reactions, equilibrium point it reaches. Okay, now we will go to the next part of the chapter. See, law of mass action and equilibrium constant. law of mass action and equilibrium constant. Whatever equilibrium concept we have seen up till now, that is theoretical concept, theoretical part we have seen. Okay, equilibrium constant, it gives mathematical deduction for that particular equilibrium point. Mathematically, it can be described, equilibrium point during reversible chemical reaction can be described in terms of equilibrium constant K. This equilibrium constant can be obtained by applying law of mass action to the reversible chemical reaction. So what I am telling you, if we will apply law of mass action to the reversible chemical reaction, we will get equilibrium constant. This equilibrium constant is nothing but mathematical description of chemical equilibrium point which we have seen up till now. Rate of forward reaction and rate of reverse reactions, when they are becoming equal, that particular point. So how it is mathematically deducted? We have to see for that law of mass action. This law of mass action we are going to apply to the reversible chemical reaction. So what is law of mass action? Law of mass action states that the rate of chemical reaction is directly proportional to the product of molar concentrations, that is concentration in moles per liter of reactants. See again, law of mass action states that the rate of chemical reaction is directly proportional to the product of molar concentrations of reactants. Molar concentration means what? Concentration in moles per liter. This is statement. When we will apply this law of mass action to a particular reaction, you will be able to understand it better. Okay, what I have told you, when we will apply this law of mass action to reversible chemical reaction, we are going to get K, that is equilibrium constant. Okay, so let us apply it. We will take general reaction for this. First of all, consider a general reversible chemical reaction, A plus B giving C plus D. Like N2 plus 3H2 giving 2NH3, H2 plus I2 giving 2HI. Here A plus B giving C plus D, that reversible chemical reaction we have taken. Now we will apply the law. Rate of forward reaction. What is the law? Rate of chemical reaction is directly proportional to the product of molar concentrations of reactants. Reactants, not products. Okay, so we are considering now rate of forward reaction. Okay, so rate of forward reaction is directly proportional to the product. Product of what? Molar concentrations of reactants. Which are the reactants for forward reaction? For forward reaction, the reactants are A and B. Their molar concentration, it is indicated on paper by enclosing particular reactant in square bracket. When you are enclosing particular reactant in square bracket, it means you are representing its concentration in moles per liter. Okay, so how many reactants are there? 2 reactants are there, A and B. So their product of their concentrations. So multiplication into concentration of B. So rate of forward reaction is directly proportional to the product of molar concentration of A and molar concentration of B. And therefore, rate of forward reaction RF is equal to KF into A, concentration of A into concentration of B, where KF is proportionality constant known as rate constant for the forward reaction. Similarly, rate of reverse reaction, we will apply law of mass action to reverse reaction now. Reverse reaction, C plus D giving A plus B. So rate of reverse reaction is directly proportional to, okay, product of molar concentration of reactants. Which are the reactants for the reverse reaction? For reverse reaction, the reactants are C and D and the products are A and B. So rate of reverse reaction is directly proportional to molar concentration of C into molar concentration of D. And therefore RR, rate of reverse reaction or backward reaction, is equal to KR into C into D. Molar concentration of C into molar concentration of D. where Kr, like Kf, is rate constant for reverse reaction. So what we have done? We have applied law of mass action to forward reaction once and then to the reverse reaction. At equilibrium, rate of forward reaction and rate of reverse reaction both are equal. Okay, so if you will see these two, RF and RR, then left hand sides are equal, therefore right hand sides are equal. So Kf into A into B is equal to Kr into C into D, as RF is equal to RR. Rate of forward reaction and rate of reverse reaction are equal. So at equilibrium, rate of forward reaction and rate of reverse reaction equal. So Kf into A into B is equal to Kr into C into D, where square A, B, C, D enclosed in square bracket means their molar concentrations, how many moles per liter are present in the reaction. Now Kf upon Kr, that is ratio of constants, rate constants, is one more constant, that is Kc, is equal to what it will be? Molar concentration of C into molar concentration of D upon molar concentration of A into molar concentration of B. Okay, so Kc is nothing but equilibrium constant. Why it is C? Why Kc, not only K? Because we are expressing K in terms of concentrations of reactants, and therefore Kc. Okay, so this Kc value, we are able to get this value, its magnitude, and that indicates equilibrium point. That indicates equilibrium point during chemical reaction. When rate of forward and reverse reactions are equal, we will get this Kc value. Okay, so what is this rate of chemical reaction? Rate of chemical reaction in terms of reactants is minus dR by dt. Means what? Minus means, see, during chemical reaction, any chemical reaction, concentration of reactants, it decreases. Okay, so change in concentration per unit time is rate of reaction, isn't it? Or change in concentration of products also. Concentration of reactants is going to decrease, concentration of products will increase. So negative sign for decrease in rate of decrease in concentration of reactants. So minus dR by dt. D indicates small change in concentration upon small change in time. Or in terms of products are going to increase, no? So plus dP by dt, or d concentration of products by dt. Okay, that is about rate, and this rate is directly proportional to concentration of reactants. This is law of mass action which we have applied to a general reaction. In the next video, we are going to apply this law by taking particular reversible chemical reaction. Thank you.